price of freedom is death. We're coming to get our check.
Black first, my brothers and my sisters. Welcome to the Afro Elite YouTube channel. I am your host, Afro Elite. Make sure that you guys lock in. We have a lot to discuss this evening, a whole lot to break down. Chicago is in $1 billion worth of debt. We're going to go through why this is going on. We're going to go all the way back to when this first started, all of that stuff. And we're going to break down who really is at fault for this entire situation and what is being done by the city government, by the Chicago government to fix this situation. Now, as you guys can tell, I've rearranged the studio and I put a poll in the chat room. So I want to know what you guys think about it. So as you guys are coming in, just vote on the poll. Let me know what you guys think about it. But I'm going to get straight into it because there's so much to cover, so much footage and everything. I got to get straight into it. So without any further ado, we got to protect the interest of the channel. So let's play this. Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Okay, now we got that out the way. This is the good morning, good day America, good day Chicago. Speaking on the budget, deficit. Okay, so this is that situation. Hold on, let me do it like this. This is supposed to be bigger than that. Okay, here we go.
Welcome back. The city of Chicago is facing a nearly $1 billion budget deficit for fiscal year 2025. And the mayor says everything is on the table to fill that hole, like raising property taxes, a hiring freeze, and cuts to city services. Ninth Ward Alderman Anthony Beal joins me now. Alderman, thanks for tuning in this morning, checking in with us.
Okay.
Well, thanks for having me. Good morning.
Good morning
to
you.
Alderman Beal, let me just explain to you guys what that really means. A hiring freeze. That means the city of Chicago is banned from pretty much hiring anybody else. That means they're cutting things down, different positions that they have in different departments. They're letting people off, residents, citizens, tax-paying citizens. They're letting citizens off. There's no overtime. This is right around the holidays when people plan their vacations, when people plan trips and family events and everything. They're cutting all of that stuff off right around winter time as well, too, where people really start to stock up and save up for the next year. Right around that time, when stuff starts to get real cold, when you need that backup money, all around that time, this stuff is getting cut off. Rent is going to go up because property taxes are going to have to go up. So property taxes are going to have to go up. So that means rent is going to have to go up. So that's going to be very difficult for people if there's a hiring freeze. And on top of that, if there is a break, that a restriction from overtime. Community services, that pretty much means everything except fire, police, the fire department, police, and public transportation. Everything is cut down to a bare minimum. Now we're going to listen and we're going to let him discuss this. Then we're going to go all the way back to figure out, and we're going to break this thing through like a documentary to get to how we got to this point in the first place, because this was very preventable. This was something that we were warning them for years that Chicago was going to wind up getting into. We've been saying it for years, and now we have it. Now we have it, to the surprise of no one. But let's continue with the news clip.
How did we get to this point?
Well, we knew that this cliff was coming years ago. We knew we had a pension deficit that was coming. And we knew that, coming out of the pandemic, things were still slow. Coming out of the pandemic, downtown is still recovering. And so we've been looking at all these different things going on that really caused this hole, but we didn't do anything to prepare for it. We spent all the COVID money creating programs and creating additional jobs. And now that COVID money is running out, that's adding, more deficit to our revenue on a day-to-day basis. So We didn't do anything last year to raise property tax fees or fines or anything, and we just kind of punted last year, and that also added to this hole. And so it was a compound of really bad judgments that really got us here.
It sounds like you're almost blaming yourself for this. Was it you? Was it the mayor's office? Who's to blame?
Well, it wasn't me, because I voted against every budget the last 5 years. And so it was definitely the guidance of the administration that really pushes the agenda as far as our budgets are concerned. And so when you look at our budgets, it's the mayor's responsibilities to present us with budgets. And, I've been fighting tooth and nail about all these bad decisions that have been made. And it's just right now, it's not enough of us in the city council to, really right the wrongs that are going on. When you look at the fact that we spent $814,000 on a wrought iron fence during the pandemic, knowing that we have a deficit, why would you do something like that? Why would we spend over $600 million on migrants when we have a deficit like this? Why didn't we have a hiring freeze or start furlough days back in March and April if you knew we had a deficit like this coming? And so there was no preparation. So it's just bad decisions going forward.
Thank you for clarifying that in your position on those issues. Okay, so we're in this problem. We got to do something. What would you do to plug the hole?
Well, again, we should have had massive a hiring freeze outside of police and fire. And I'm glad that the administration saw the error of their ways and reversed course on police and fire on the hiring freeze. We should have had a hiring freeze back in March and April. We should have been looking at possible furlough days like we did years ago to help plug this gap. But none of those things were done. We just kept spending. And now we have a hole, and we want to blame CPS on the $223 million hole that we have this year for not paying their pension payment. However, if we had not spent $600 million on the migrants, we wouldn't have a deficit this year going forward. And so we have created this disaster that we're in. And now we want to point fingers and blame everybody else for the bad decisions that this administration has been making.
Okay, I want to ask you about something you just mentioned there. You called the fact not to include police and fire in the hiring freeze a reversal of a decision from the Johnson administration. They're saying it wasn't a reversal, that was the plan all along. Did they get pushback and then they decided, oh, maybe we shouldn't include them in the hiring freeze?
Yeah, absolutely. All the documentation that we got, everything that went out, and it was a total hiring freeze across the entire city, including first responders. And so there was a lot of pushback, a lot of aldermen. The FOP was pushing back. The firefighters union was pushing back. Aldermen were pushing back, saying that, we're already 2,000 officers short. Now you're going to freeze hiring, you're going to not pay overtime, and we still are dealing with carjackings and smash and grabs and murders and all kind of CTA issues, and now you want to cut back? That was just a bad decision, and I'm glad they reversed course, but it was definitely a reversal.
Interesting. Okay, so I want to switch gears here. Several Chicago aldermen are calling for the mayor to fire one of his top aides after a 2021 podcast interview just resurfaced. Let's listen in, and then I want your reaction.
Now, before we get into that, so I don't lose track. Before we get into that part right there, I want to say, as far as the hiring freeze is concerned, there are a lot of people who are saying that the Chicago Police Department, they need more money because there is a spike in crime. Despite when anybody tries to tell you, there's been a spike in crime, in particular carjackings, breaking into cars, grand theft auto, breaking into houses, migrants, illegals. Let's just call it what it is. Illegals stealing people's packages from their front door. That's gone viral everywhere they are. That's gone viral. They watch and they follow the Amazon trucks. They follow the mail trucks. And when the mail trucks drop off packages at people's door, you know how Amazon does, they'll put the package by the door and they'll take a picture and walk off. When they walk off, here comes an illegal immigrant coming and grabbing it. They don't even know what it is. They're just stealing for the sake of stealing. They have literally no idea what is in that box. Nobody does. They're just taking it to take it. Let me tell you something. My car insurance recently went up because of so many carjackings going on in this area. My car insurance went up. Now I have automatic payment on my car insurance. So One day I was just checking my bank account and I noticed like there seemed to be a miscalculation in the funds I was supposed to have. I go back and I see that my car insurance has gone up over $70. Over $70. And I call my car insurance and I say, I didn't do anything to change the policy. I didn't like upgrade the policy or anything like that, nor have I had an accident, nor did I put another driver on there. So why are you charging me an additional $70? Mind you, I've had this car insurance company for years. Okay. Automatic payment, nothing wrong, no late fee, nothing. Years. So I'm wondering, like, why are you going up? They told me, oh, we have to do this because this is the company policy, because there are many people who are getting insurance claims because and remember I told you my car was broken into before. Now I didn't report that to the insurance. I took care of that because I didn't want my insurance to go up, but it went up anyway. There's been many people complaining about their cars getting broken into, because their cars have been getting broken into, and a lot of people are talking to their insurance about that. That makes the insurance company have to go up on their premiums. Anytime you're in a specific area, sometimes insurance companies, they go based off of specific areas. So if you're in a more what they call high risk area, then that's going to increase the premium that you have to pay. They no email or no phone call or nothing. They just up mine $70 something, $74, I believe. And I paid it. It was like a couple of times. And I'm like, this is not, I missed it the first time, and then I caught it the second time. Then I went back to see. I'm like, well, I'm paying $70 something. That's $140 over the course of 2 months, and additional for car insurance. And I asked them why, and they said it was because of the break-ins. Now they didn't say it was because of illegal immigrants. Of course they didn't say that, but that's what it was. That's what it was. Most people are scared to get stuff on Amazon. They're checking their packages because they want to be right there when the Amazon truck gets there, because they'll take their packages. So there's been a spike in crime, despite what anybody tells you. There's been a spike in crime because of this. Now, let's continue.
If I die, especially at the hands of pigs, like, don't name after me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want a piece of legislation named after me, a road, none of that. But like, I would be honored if that like got more folks to abolition.
So, Alderman, that was allegedly the voice of Kennedy Bartley, Mayor Johnson's managing deputy of external relations. She was just given a promotion of sorts. Your reaction?
Well, first of all, it wasn't allegedly. That was her. And those are her views, and those are the agenda that her and her organization have been pushing here in the city of Chicago. And, you know, I'm sorry that she wasn't thoroughly vetted, and she should not be on the payroll. And, you know, I actually joined the course or the choir to have her removed immediately. She should not be on the government payroll. She should not be paid by taxpayer dollars. And if these are the type of people that the mayor wants to surround himself with, then, you know, that explains exactly why the city is in turmoil and chaos that you see right now. We are in the middle of a dysfunctional administration. When you fire 4 people in IGA for no apparent reason, you know, those were 4 African-American women that were doing a great job building relationships, but then you hire someone who's radical to be over them with those kind of views. I think we are definitely in troubled water right now, and we need to.
Okay, so that's that. That was him explaining what was going on. That's him explaining what's going on. Okay. Shout out to every single last one of you guys in the room. I want this to be as big as possible because we're going to break down. If y'all don't know, I've gone like super viral on Twitter, and especially Twitter, TikTok as well too, but Twitter, me and Ms. Jackson. So let's go back, because $1 billion is a lot of money to be in debt. That's a lot of money. So how did we get to this point? Now, Brandon Johnson, when he won by very, very little. But when he did win, one of the first things that he started to do was he started to use money from the city government, and he made this whole bill thing, and he was asking the city council to approve and millions of dollars, and this is a year ago, so he can give it specifically to them. Look at this. So we got to go all the way back with this. We have to go all the way back with this so you guys can have a full context of this. This is in May 2023, the end of May 2023. All right.
Tensions flare today as City Hall as alderpeople weighed a $51 million plan to help care for migrants sent to Chicago from Texas. The measure passed City Council 34-13. But the vote came after an intense 90-minute debate that saw tension between Black and Latino Chicagoans. WTTW News reporter Heather Sharon joins us outside City Hall now with more. Heather, what will the city use this $51 million for?
Well, Brandis, this $51 million will be used to feed and shelter the nearly 4,000 migrants now housed in city shelters. In addition, it will help move the nearly 500.
Did y'all hear the number? And this is, I want you, that's why I put this date up here. I put the date up there. I put that date up there so you guys can have a full understanding of what led to this situation. How much money has been spent over this time. I've been tracking this since day one, since Lightfoot was still in office. When she was still in office, right when it started happening, I was broadcasting about it. I was going to the immigrant shelters about it. I was discussing it right when it happened. All right. So we're going to go through a trip down memory lane to give you the documents and the receipts of how it got to this point right here. Did you hear what she said as far as how many are over here? And this is well over a year ago.
$1 million for.
Well, Brandis, this $51 million will be used to feed and shelter the nearly 4,000 migrants now housed in city shelters. In addition, it will help move the nearly 500 migrants living in police stations across the city into more permanent housing or at least temporary shelters.
So Alderman David Moore was one of 7 Black alderpeople to vote against the funding, echoing the complaints of dozens of Black Chicagoans who packed the meeting to oppose the plan because of decades of disinvestment on the south and west sides. Let's take a listen.
I'm reminded when the flight attendant says on the plane, in an emergency, make sure you put your mask on first before you help someone else. And so we have to put our mask on first, and we have to help the residents of this great city.
Heather, who else voted against this funding and why?
Well, 6 white and conservative aldermen joined Alderman David Moore in voting against this funding. Some of them said that it just didn't make any sense to spend $51 million that will only cover the city through the end of June, with more migrants arriving every day. They want.
Now, I want you guys to understand something. I got to pause because I got to emphasize this. I have to emphasize this. This was $51 million allocated to them, collectively speaking, about what they said, but what they announced in the city was around 5,000. It was around 5,000 illegal immigrants in the city. That's what they were saying. They said $51 million, but that was only for the month of June. That was literally for one single month. That wasn't $51 million for the rest of the year, $51 million until we find out what we're going to do with them, $51 million to create some program. This is $51 million specifically dedicated exclusively to them. The same government that tells us that reparations, is too divisive and we don't know where the money would come from. The same people who tell us, hey, you guys understand that we can't do anything only for Black people. Remember Kamala Harris? Remember how Kamala Harris, when she was running, I got to tie this all the way back because she was the border czar, so this is her fault. Remember how Kamala Harris was telling everybody, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit Black people. No, remember she said that. She said that, all right? This is $51 million for a month. For a single month, okay? So you just got to have that in context. While they tell us it's a handout when we get reparations or when we ask for reparations, despite the fact that we built the country and that legally belong in the country, they get to come over here one single month. $51 million.
A long-term comprehensive plan. And Mayor Brandon Johnson said today after the city council meeting, he is still working on it.
So despite sharing some of Alderman Moore's concerns, Alderwoman Maria Hadden reached the opposite conclusion.
A conflict is being created at a weak point in our city. And it's frustrating because this weak point wouldn't exist if our city hadn't spent decades not serving Black residents. And also, I do care about the new arrivals. And I do care about what happens to them. And we can't have people sleeping on the floors of police stations.
You can send them home. Hey, we ain't going to do that. No, we're not going to do that. You can send them home. We don't need them sleeping on police stations. I fully agree. They can leave. They can leave.
Heather, it was an emotional day at City Hall. What role did the crowd play in today's meeting? The public?
Well, you could hear a little bit of the crowd in the background while Alderman Hadden was speaking. They played a huge role. They booed, they cheered, they hissed. Several times people had to be admonished to quiet down, and several people were removed from the chambers. But perhaps the most startling moments were when two alder people, Alderman Byron Sigcho Lopez was told to go back to his own country, and Alderman Jeanette Taylor was called a traitor and a sellout. Alderwoman Taylor voted for the funding, but not before delivering a really tearful and emotional speech about how difficult this issue is and just how fraught these issues are for Black Chicagoans and Latino Chicagoans.
Man, no, ain't no black and nothing. Ain't no black and nothing. We not doing that. We are not doing that. So this Chicago was there. It went super viral. The situation went super viral in Chicago. This was in May. All right. Last year, we were saying $51 million as you're sitting up here neglecting the South Side and the West Side and all of the Black residents in Chicago. You're neglecting Chicago. The South Side of Chicago looks almost night and day. It looks like Gotham City to Metropolis of the North Side of Chicago. That's what it looks like in comparison. If you've been to both parts, it looks like that in comparison. The white folk side, which is the North, and then the Black side is the South and the West. Very different. So you're telling us, oh, we're trying to work on it, everything like that, and you dedicate to them, and all of the city aldermen dedicate exclusively to them. Now, one of the things that we get upset about is when they talk to us, there's this whole thing of every single time they discuss something with us, it's got to be this Black and brown, Black and disenfranchised community, Black and Latino, Black is this people of color stuff. It's always this people of color stuff, which is why it is asinine for any Black person to be on any type of people of color. It's asinine for Black people at this time to be on any type of Black and brown. It's all inclusive, any inclusive, and any inclusive thing is treacherous at this point in time, because you don't see a single Latino that says, hold on, wait, we're getting too much. The Black folk aren't getting enough. We need to share that with them. We need to include that with them. What we have is too much for us alone. They're not included. I'm here to speak up for them. You don't see anybody doing that. Not the Black, not the brown folk, not them, not no Hispanic, none of the Asians, nobody at all is doing that. Yet you still got Black people. Well, you know, I'm not mad at them, and I understand. No, I don't understand nothing. I'm be honest with you. Y'all can call me mean. I get I don't understand it. I don't understand it. It looks like you put yourself through this struggle because nobody asked you to come here. You probably was welcome. Nobody made you come here, crawling under barbed wire, coming through the border illegally, and you want me to feel sympathy for you? No. What the hell? No. I'm sorry. I don't feel nothing. If you guys had the spine that we have as foundational Black Americans, y'all would go home and y'all would fix your own country. I feel bad for the people struggling in their country. I don't want nobody to struggle in their country. Yeah, in their country. When they leave their country, when they flee their country, when they become cowards, I don't feel bad for them. I don't feel bad for a quitter. Sorry, I don't. Maybe because my bloodline is not the same. I just can't. There's something about it I can't relate to. I just can't relate to that. All right. So, with that being said, now Johnson did this. This is Johnson. I wasn't able to get the date for that. We got over 200 people in the chat room. We need everybody in here hitting that thumbs up, thumbs up button. Number one. Number two, the 100 emoji in the chat room. This is Johnson. I'm trying to give you the chronological order of what we all what led to this, and then I'm gonna get you the stuff that's going viral right now. So y'all stay tuned. All right, here we go. This is Johnson.
Johnson is making comments
on his master, his massa, Joe Biden.
Mayor Brandon Johnson is making comments on President Biden's recent immigration order targeted towards spouses of U.S. citizens.
And Elizabeth joins us live now to break it down. Hi, Elizabeth.
Yeah, hey guys, the mayor speaking this morning, applauding President Biden's movement on this immigration policy. He was flanked by advocacy community groups who are also appreciative of this new policy, but they say that they want to see more. Now, we've reported on Tuesday, President Biden announcing the Action to Keep Immigrant Families Together policy. This would ease restrictions on about 500,000 immigrants following, allowing them to gain citizenship instead of needing a green card. Those who would be impacted include those who don't have legal status but are who are married to U.S. citizens. This would allow their children an easier pathway to citizenship as well.
Remember that, and we discussed this before. This anchor baby stuff. This is anchor baby stuff that they're doing. They come over here, they get the married so they can stay over here. Okay. We discussed.
The mayor says Chicago and even Cook County would,
and he's congratulating Biden on this,
benefit economically from this policy, but there are hurdles with the more than 43,000 migrants who've arrived in the city in recent years.
The ultimate goal is resettlement. That's why you see the full force of government, the philanthropic community, the business community, the faith community. We're working hard to make sure that families are not staying in a cot.
He said, the ultimate goal. Now, this is, I want you to understand, even though I don't have the date up there, I want you to understand that this was after him in the Chicago City Council, majority of them voted yes on giving $51 million a month to them. And he said the ultimate goal is resettlement. It is to make them whole in this city. That is what it is. So that's our ultimate goal. That's our primary goal. So we're using the business community, this community, that community. We're all working together. That's what he's saying. He is unscrupulous. He is an unscrupulous, spineless shield for his massa, Joe Biden. That is all he is, a soulless individual.
In a warehouse, listen, the challenge is still what it is. You have Trumpsters who are still trying to block the full expression for families who have already contributed to our society.
They have not contributed a damn thing. They have not contributed a damn thing. The only thing they have done is taken. The only thing that they have done is taken, steal, rob, certain things I can't say on YouTube. They've done all that stuff. They have not contributed a damn thing to not just Chicago, but to this country as a whole at all. Nothing they have done. So after that, he thinks that all that ass kissing is going to help him out, right? He thinks that all that ass kissing is going to help him out, but he goes to his master. Shout out to We Next, aka TBS, TSB, sorry, for the super sticker. He goes to his master, Biden, and begs Biden for help, begs Biden for assistance, begs Biden for aid. Now this was in, hold on, let me make sure I got the dates. Yeah, this was
Not to
in
be able.
November. Okay. So before we get into this, before he started begging Biden to do that, let me make sure I got everything correct. Starts begging Biden because this is becoming a huge strain on the city.
Joe, at the rate Chicago is going, they will not be able to sustain the number of migrants that are coming to the city.
Just, I want you to keep this in mind. This is over a year ago, and everybody's saying, like, hey, at this rate, we're going to be doomed. We're doomed at this rate. What are you doing? So
that is the message that Mayor Brandon Johnson is bringing with him to Washington today. At this rate, he says the city is spending $40 million a month supporting this crisis.
It was more than that, but okay.
A quick trip to Washington.
It's certainly an urgency in our part.
A big ask. In this letter, the mayors of Chicago, LA, Denver, Houston, New York, asking for $5 billion to, quote, cover the expenditures their cities have already incurred and, quote, to continue serving the number of people arriving. They're also asking for
now, let's go back here real quick.
To, quote, cover.
Do you see how many mayors have signed on to this? They all get on the Zoom call. The reason this happened is because they all got on the Zoom call and they all have the same issue. He has the same issue. Mayor Eric Adams has the same issue. The mayor of Colorado has the same issue. The Denver has the same issue. All of these mayors have the same issue. So they all said, well, instead of asking him individually, what we should do is we should all come up with some type of letter, some request, and we're all going to sign it on behalf of our city. So this is going to be for the city of Chicago, the city of New York, the city of Denver, all of these cities. We're going to send this to him, and hopefully he's going to allocate money to us. But actually, he did not. Biden was up there sending money to Ukraine. Remember? Biden said, no, they still gonna come. Y'all gonna have to make it do what it do. Y'all gonna have to find a way.
For Houston, New York, asking for $5 billion to, quote, cover the expenditures their cities have already incurred and, quote, to continue serving the number of people arriving. They're also asking for accelerated approval of work authorizations and a more coordinated entry process for migrants.
As a city, as we continue to provide wraparound services and health care and sheltering and resettlement, registering individuals for our public institutions, our schools, that this financial dynamic has caused a tremendous burden on our local economy.
As of September 29th, the city of Chicago has spent $116 million welcoming migrants. That does not include Parks Department spending, $270,000, spending by Chicago Public Schools, $1.4 million, and $15.8 million from Cook County Health. The city is projecting there will be a shortage of anywhere from $150 million to $201 million by the end of the year.
By the end of this year, we're going to reach well over $300 million alone in just addressing this year's dynamic.
While the mayors met with the White House chief of staff, as well as senators and representatives.
Put this on the president. This is all at the president's door. He's not doing anything. He's giving us something that's not sustainable.
City Council is in the middle of creating their budget for next year.
We have to figure this out, and certainly it's got to start with closing the border and at least have a moratorium on letting people come in.
Yep. The person who's at fault for this, we have to understand, the person who is at fault, there have been dozens of them coming over, not just by the bus. They've been coming over through buses. Okay. We've calculated as dozens of buses come on a daily basis to wars where the aldermen don't even know that they're coming. The residents don't even know that they're coming. There were some residents that like, you know what? I mean, I'm not that mad at them coming, but damn, can we get a heads up at the very least? Can we get a heads up at the very least? There was a lot of them that didn't know. Not only that, a lot of them were coming on the airports. This is O'Hare. These are O'Hare airports. Now, they would never allow black people to be like this. This is O'Hare Airport. This isn't just the police station. They were getting bussed over here. They were getting flown over here. They were getting flown out, and the one who was responsible, the one and two who is responsible for this crisis going on in Chicago, in DC, in New York, in Denver, in the entire country of America is Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. These two villains, these two unscrupulous, soulless, anti-black, racist, white supremacist individuals over here, him and his Asian sidekick, this racist, segregationist, crackhead son dude, senile dude, and his Asian cackling witch-like sidekick allowed this to happen as they came to Chicago and had a party. Because that's what the DNC was. The DNC was a big party. It was a huge party that the DNC threw over here while Black Chicago is being plagued. The mayors, even though they're sitting up there obeying their master to the greatest degree that they possibly could, they're obeying their masters to the greatest degree. They was all like, well, if y'all gonna send them over here, I'm gonna do what you say, master, but I need a little bit of help. I need you to help me out a little bit. Biden said no. Biden could have signed an executive order because he was doing it several times with Ukraine. And I don't want to hear Congress wasn't letting him do that. Do you all understand that Joe Biden has broken records for how many executive orders he signed in the short amount of time that he's been in office? He signed more executive orders than Obama, and Obama has been in office for 8 years. He got in there and his wrist had arthritis with all of the signatures he had to sign on day one of executive orders, giving money, despite what Congress wants him to do. He was all like, well, you know what? I'm going to say it's an emergency, so I'm going to use my executive power to do it. And he's allowing them to come over here. He's allowing that to happen. So people are looking at Johnson like, Johnson, why don't you be a man? Why don't you grow some balls? Why don't you have a little backbone? Why don't you stop them from coming over here? Why don't you say no more? If you're sitting up there trying to serve Biden, Biden's not even giving you the tools necessary, which it still would have been in displacement of us as foundational Black Americans, but Biden's not even giving you the tools necessary, and you still gonna kiss up to him. And of course, Brandon Johnson said yes. Look at this.
So it's not just about reopening 2 mental health clinics that were closed, but it's also about providing care, because
this was shortly afterwards. But I want you to see something. Actually, before I forget this, since all of these things were going on, are you guys hitting that like button? I need every single last one of you guys to hit that like button, because nobody else is going to go through the chronological order like you're going to see here tonight. But you are not going to find this anywhere else, because I was there. And I took this footage, and I've been there, and I've seen this, and I know how it happened. So you're not going to find this anywhere else. All right. So you guys need to make sure that you guys hit that like button. If you guys hit that like button, put the like button emoji or put the thumbs up emoji in the chat room, okay? So I can make sure I keep track of everybody who's, supporting this message, okay? Put the thumbs up emoji in the chat room. Before we get into that, I don't want to forget that, hold on. I don't want to forget that the city of Chicago was like, you know what? If you're saying that Greg Abbott can send them over here because this is a sanctuary city, and this is in December last year, after millions of dollars has already been spent, after we're already millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars in debt. We're hundreds of millions of dollars in debt. It's already been that way. So now we're saying, you know what, if this is only because this is a sanctuary city, maybe this does not need to be a sanctuary city anymore. Maybe we need to change this, because when this became a sanctuary city, nobody had this in mind. This is outrageous. So this is what Black Chicago tried to do to get this taken off of being a sanctuary city. And I want you guys to look at the date. I see a lot of you guys are hitting that like button. I appreciate it. Love y'all. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Thank you. They playing with the views because on YouTube and StreamYard, it's two completely different numbers, but that's fine. That's fine. I'm not going to trip on it. Look at the date right here. This is December 14th in 2003, right after Brandon Johnson said, hey, we in big trouble. We're already in super debt. We don't know how we're going to pay for this. So the Chicago City Council Sanctuary City referendum, they were going to say we should maybe remove at the very least temporarily, we should remove all of the sanctuary city statuses. Okay. So this is what wound up happening. And this is from ABC News. A referendum on the city sanctuary city status was roundly defeated in the Chicago City Council Thursday after public comment, and they were playing some crazy games, not letting people speak. There was one day we went up there, it was so much noise, they just shut the lights off, and then they said reschedule. I want you guys to understand. Let me pause this for a second. I want you guys to understand, I was there on both those days. I was there on Tuesday. It was so much chaos, so much on Tuesday. By the time the meeting started, because they didn't want anybody to come up, any black folk to come up there. They tried to let the Hispanics in early. There was a lot of black people who were all like, you're not going to be able to let these Hispanics skip the line. You are not going to be able to let them do that, right? So much chaos. The second the meeting started, Johnson canceled everything, said we're going to reschedule till Thursday. The lights just shut off, and the police told everybody, y'all got to go home. We were there for 4 hours waiting for the meeting. The meeting got pushed back and pushed back and pushed back for 4 hours. That's how long I was there. Some people were there for a good 6 to 8 hours because they came early in the morning. They rescheduled it to Thursday because they know less people would be able to just show up the same way Thursday. So they can have less public speaking out on this situation. And I was there on both those days. Just so you can have some context of that. So we're going to continue. It says, after public comment, a majority of the city council voted not to suspend the rules to allow the motion for the city referendum to move forward. While asylum seekers, illegal aliens, they are not asylum seekers, they are illegal. They are not supposed to be in this country. They did not sign up for asylum. They didn't. And we're going to show you some clips afterward because I want to remind you guys, because I pressed Alderman Vasquez and I went to the shelters, the immigrant shelter about that. So just keep in mind, every time they say asylum seekers, they're illegal. They don't know if they're here for asylum. Most of them are not. While asylum seekers continue to come to Chicago from Texas in a move seen by some as an effort to embarrass and overburden sanctuary cities like Chicago, the fight to let voters weigh in on sanctuary policy was shut down. During a special city council meeting to put a non-binding, which means they didn't really have to do it even if the city did get a vote. So it was non-binding. So the city could have did whatever they wanted to, but they didn't even let us get the non-binding vote. They prevented us from getting the vote. It says, the non-binding referendum on the ballot, the mayor and his allies used a procedural move to prevent a vote on the referendum. So this is coming from the party that claims to be the party of democracy, that claims to be the party of choice, that claims to be the party of free will, that claims to be the party of the First Amendment of free speech, that claims to be the party of democracy. And yet the city, the residents, the tax-paying residents are saying, this is not right. We should at least have a vote on this. And they can't even allow the vote, the non-binding referendum. They couldn't even allow that. Scrolling down, it says, Alderman Ray Lopez has been trying to get the referendum on the ballot. Quote, this city is going to cost taxpayers, this crisis is going to cost taxpayers this year over $300 million. Mind you, this was in 2023. We're at the end of 2024 now. $300 million. And I think this is a bigger issue that requires us to have a broader conversation with our residents so we have a better buy-in if we want to continue down this path. Alderman Lopez said supporters of Chicago's sanctuary city status claim victory, while Lopez said he was frustrated but not surprised. Quote, we're gathered today to celebrate the city council just voted to reject efforts to put a divisive anti-immigrant question on the ballot, said Fiska Alman and of the Illinois Coalition for Immigrant and Refugee Rights. Immigrant and refugee rights. Quote, the pressure value in the city of Chicago is already set at maximum because of this administration and his allies who have been unwilling to have an open, honest conversation. Lopez said, yep, this is coming from the city of the party of quote unquote democracy. Shout out to the Cash Apps and shout out to the Super Chats. Shout out to the Cash Apps and the Super Chats. I appreciate y'all. Okay. Says, quote, look, we have a critical conversation. We can have a critical conversation. We're not saying we cannot. We don't need a question on the ballot that is going to be weaponized and manipulated to sow division in our community, said 26th Ward Alderman Jesse Fuentes. Mayor Johnson later defeated the vote as democracy in action. Okay. He defended the vote, not defeat. Defended the vote. A quote, our position is about making sure that we're providing solutions. This is Johnson. Showing up to a fight without a solution is irresponsible and neglect. Now, I'm not going to read all of this. I just want you to understand that this is what was going on during that time. This is what was going on. So this was in December. Now, I want you to go so we can look back because we got to check all of this stuff back. This is well after I had interviewed the immigrants or the illegals, to be very honest. I had already interviewed them all the way in October. Look at this.
I was immigration.
I am the only one who has done this. Nobody else has done this before. I'm the one who's doing this. Look at this. This was all the way in October, way before the Chicago city government said, and this, let's be honest, this with this and the way this blew up, this clip, when this clip blew up, because nobody had did this, because the news was saying, oh, they're asylum seekers. You should have sympathy for them. They're asylum seekers. They're innocent old men and old ladies with little babies, and you should have sympathy for them because they're coming over here and they're having a really hard time, and Chicago's really cold and Mexico's hot, so they're not really used to cold. So we need more money for them and tents and nice coats and nice clothes and nice food for them. We need to give them more money because they're not used to cold. So that's what we need to do. So I went over there and I said, y'all keep saying that these are asylum seekers. Let me not ask them. Let me ask these asylum seekers if they're asylum seekers. This is what they had to say.
I was in migration. I was in migration detention in ICE in Texas. So I exit the detention in August. 2 months before.
2 months before August?
Yeah.
Okay. And
in all, I have 6 months in this country.
6 months?
In this country.
Okay. Oh, so August this year, not last.
No, in detention. was
now,
in
he said
okay,
August.
okay.
Now, I just want you to keep this in mind. This was all the way back in October of 2023.
ICE,
Okay.
ICE, Immigration Customs Enforcement.
Okay, ICE. Okay. What is the process to like citizenship?
Yeah, processing the
You want me to talk into that?
processing the people, judge, court.
Okay.
Almost all have presentation different dates.
Okay.
This year, next year, 2026, 2024.
Okay.
This parole.
Oh, so everybody
Parole.
is on parole. Okay, so everybody's on parole. Okay. Okay, that's all I'm going to play of that. That's all I'm going to play of that because I want you guys to understand what was going on. The media was lying to you. I went over there to the police station. I talked to them. When I said, do you want me to talk into that? Because they had a phone trying to translate because most of them claimed that they didn't understand any English. I went over there. I asked them, so what is the process of you coming over here? I knew that this was going to be useful. I knew that because they kept saying, oh, well, they're already vetted. They're not criminals coming over here. That's a xenophobic talking point. Y'all sound like MAGA. Y'all sound like MAGA saying that they're coming over. That's xenophobic. That's not true. They're all vetted. Okay, so I asked them, okay, well, what was the vetting process like? Did you have to, because normally when you go to another country, especially under the asylum, you have to explain, okay, this is what I'm running away from, what I'm fleeing from. This is my gripe with the country that I'm coming. I'm being wrongfully persecuted because of some type of religious belief or anything like that. So this is why I am here to seek asylum. There is a process. There is a legal process to seeking asylum in America. So I said, okay, well, what is the process that you guys are going through? They said, oh, we don't go through no process. We go to the border. Abbott from Texas puts us on a bus. No name. That's why I asked him multiple times. Any names taken? No. He said no. No names get taken. They get shipped to Chicago. They get shipped to New York. They get shipped to Colorado. They get shipped to Los Angeles. They get shipped to Atlanta. They get shipped to North and South Carolina. They get shipped to DC. They get shipped all over the place. Nobody knows who they are. That's why I keep saying this, because I know I talked to them. And then they said when they get to the city, then they get a date of when they have the application. So they have a piece of paper. They have a piece of paper that has a date on the piece of paper. That date might be a month from now, 2 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years from now, where all they need is their name, the name that they gave them, and a date. Said, hey, meet me at this building 4 years from now. You can just kick it here now, but in 4 years, we're going to check you out to see if your story adds up. That's what we're going to do in 4 years from now. While they're telling us, oh, they're absolutely vetted. So remember, and I'm giving you the chronological order because I'm saying, I was there and I'm taking all this footage, right? So remember, I pressed, let me get this up on the screen. I pressed Vasquez about this. Look at this. Now, this was in December. This was literally the day. This was literally the day that they shut down the Sanctuary City thing. Literally the day they shut down the Sanctuary City thing, I went to Alderman Vasquez because this was right after the meeting, and I asked him about them coming over here and them being vetted. Now, I want to play this clip of him saying, oh, they're being vetted, and we know they're being vetted, and we know they're being taken. Listen to this, and then I'm going to go back and I'm going to play the other thing where they told me out of their own mouths that they were not.
Okay. They're fleeing another country seeking help. They're not government.
Okay, let me ask you this then.
Yeah.
What is the process to make sure that they're not lying about being asylum seekers and just coming over here?
Yeah.
Because you're allowing thousands of them in a day.
Before, when they come in through the border of the federal government, the ones that are coming here are placed on buses. In order to even get on the bus, you have to be vetted and registered by the federal government. They look at the other countries you're coming from and place all their public safety records based on the person who's coming. that gets vetted. If there's a concern, they can't even get on the buses that come here. So they're vetted on that end before they show up here through those different lenses.
Now, okay. Now I have the full thing, but I don't need to play the full thing. I don't really need to play the full thing. Okay. He said that they were all being vetted. And then when you ask them, oh, okay. So everybody's on parole. Okay. He said, no, we just on parole. I caught him red-handed. After that, we have never spoke since then. I never got a chance to do a one-on-one with him since then. When this blew up and this went viral, never got a chance to do a one-on-one with him since then. This was the date that blew up. Afterwards, now Brandon Johnson is trying to do a one-on-one begging for money from Biden.
40% of the 911
crisis responders to be on 911 calls.
So it's not just about reopening 2 mental health clinics that were closed, but it's also about providing care, because 40% of the 911 calls that were coming through really required a mental health care response.
But do we know which neighborhoods or when?
Well, as I said, whether it's Austin, whether it's Roseland, whether it's North Lawndale, Garfield Park, pick a side of the city of Chicago on the west or south side, or pick a neighborhood.
We've been on the street in those communities as well. And when we talk to voters, a lot of times they'll voice concerns about being frustrated that they don't think your administration is hearing them because of the monies that are being spent on the migrant crisis that they're not seeing. It seems like this money just appears out of thin air, but isn't being invested in their own communities. Why do you think they feel that way?
Well, because again, black and brown neighborhoods, and particularly black communities, have been disinvested in. Keep in mind that the migrant crisis, this international global crisis, really requires a federal resource response.
What if the federal government doesn't help you?
Well, clearly they haven't thus far.
But is that sustainable? Because you've said it isn't sustainable.
Well, I think you've answered it. No, it's not sustainable. The Congress does have to act. And if they do not act, this is going to continue to cause the type of chaos that the governor of Texas wants to do.
But we're running out of space. So where are these people going to go?
27 shelters, what I've built.
And they're all full.
And we have provided education.
27 shelters. None of this has ever been done for actual citizens, homeless citizens, anywhere. Yet they come over here, they're literally spending taxpayer dollars to build shelters specifically for them. We are paying. They're taking money out of your check, out of my check. The city of Chicago taking money to pay for them to build shelters. And he's saying Biden isn't helping him. This is the same Biden. I want you to keep in mind, this is the same Biden who allowed them to come over here like this in the first place. The Biden and Kamala Harris who allowed them to come over here like this in the first damn place. It was so bad that Johnson, I want you to look at the date. Look at the date. It was so bad that Johnson had to take money from the pandemic relief fund, because we had a relief fund for the pandemic, 100 million, close to $100 million out of the relief fund. I don't know if we can say that word, the C19, the C19 relief fund specifically for them. This was dated in December 29th, 2023. Okay. This was dated then. All right. Nobody else is going to sit up there and keep track of this stuff. But this is why we have to do this, because what they're going to do is they're going to just sit up here and lie to you. They're going to sit up here and lie and say, we tried the best we could. We tried the best we could. It's not our fault. Listen to what he continues to lie and say.
Healthcare for these.
And can we be petty here? Can we be petty? Let's be petty a little bit. We're going to be petty for a little bit. Do you guys know that Brandon Johnson spends $30,000 for his haircuts and his makeup? $30,000. I want you guys to take a good look at this man's haircut. His barber is ripping him off. His barber is getting a bag for no reason. He's getting $30,000. He's probably sitting on that money because he looks like he cuts his own hair. He looks like he cuts his own hair. And and there's a lot of people who cut their own hair that actually can do a good job. Clearly not him. Does this look to you like a $30,000 haircut? Does this look like he's getting does this look like that? 30,000, does this look like a $30,000 haircut to you? Who wears a mohawk like that anymore? It's not even blended in. I met him in person. The thing is bald on the side. He looks like he got his hair cut in jail. What is this? He looks like a GTA character. What type of haircut is this? You know how in GTA and you get to customize different haircuts, but for the black people, they got a very weird amount of haircuts. He looks like that. He looks like that. What type of black person in 2024 is still wearing some weird mohawk like that? What does he think he is? This isn't the 90s. He looks like, what is that one character? From the A-Team. I forgot his name. What's it called? Mr. T. He looks like not even a buff. Mr. T looked better with his mohawk. Who wears a mohawk like this? He looks like a weird G.I. Joe character. He looks like a generic black G.I. Joe character. You can tell he don't know no black Americans whatsoever with a haircut that looks like this. Mr. T, exactly. It was Mr. T. Exactly. They actually look better on Mr. T. I ain't gonna lie to you. What is this? $30,000. But that had to be a little petty. I just had to be a little petty. Okay. So we're gonna continue.
These families, and we did all of that without having to cut back on services to people, as I've already expressed, that have been set at the margins for generations.
So we've asked all of these questions and we've talked to people on your city council, people on the street. They're frustrated with the lack of transparency from your administration. They say, shelters are opening up in my ward and I don't know they're opening until they're open. Why do you feel like those who you're working with collaboratively and those who have voted for you feel you are not being transparent?
If people believe that there's more information that's available, then they're looking for nothing. Because I've been absolutely clear about this mission.
He has not been absolutely clear about a damn thing. He's been lying the whole time. Yeah, of course. Shout out to Mr. T. I used to love the A-Team. I used to love that. Okay, shout out to Mr. T. Of course. No offense, but I'm just saying, like the mohawk, that's not his thing. That's not his thing. He getting his hair cut on supercuts. Lord have mercy. You know it's bad when you go to the barber with a coupon. If you got to go to a barber because you got a coupon and newsletter, then you know that barbershop needs some help. His haircut, he's paying $30,000 for a haircut that looked like it cost $5.99. He's paying $30,000 for haircuts that look like they should cost $5.99. Okay, when I was younger, and I guess this is probably just the age of the little black kid growing up in like the 90s, early 2000s, your hair was cut flat, cut low, and even. We all had that low and even to damn near bald fade. As a black male growing up around that time, maybe this new generation don't experience that, but I wanted to ask you guys, as black men, because I need to understand that this is not me, because it might just be me. Black men, let me ask you, did you go through your parents would not let you get anything but a haircut that is low and even all around? You didn't have no fade. You didn't have no design. You didn't have no nothing. You could have a lining. Sometimes you could have a lining. That's it. But you would have the haircut that looked like you were just going to go into the military. That's the haircut that I had growing up, okay? And you didn't get a chance to grow your hair out until you was like in your teenage years. Okay, every time because you started getting your own money to get your hair done. Every time your parents, they would cut your hair like that. And this is how we understood how we have to have our hair. See, this is why a lot of people don't think he's a foundational black American, because at our culture, we go through a hair phase. And we can talk about black women, but black men, we all go through a hair phase where this is the haircut. You and all of your friends had the same haircut. All of your friends had the same haircut. There was only one that had a little bit more hair. That was it. And then there might have been one that was able to get an afro, and that's it. Okay. But we all had the same haircut. There was only 3 haircuts. There was an afro, and if it was too nappy and the parents didn't want to deal with it, they would make you cut it. There was the afro. There was the low haircut that was even on all the sides. And then there was like a high top. That was it. And it was rare for a little kid to get a high top. You would have to be a teenager to get that. I'm just gonna be honest. And then for some exceptions, there was kids that was bald, just straight up bald. Like I'm talking about just bald, like shaving the head off. The parents didn't take clippers; they took a razor with some shaving cream, shaved their little 7-year-old heads off. Okay, see, this is cultural experience here, so we can understand what a sharp haircut looks like in the future. We appreciate it now. Johnson, clearly, he did not grow up with that, because there is no way you struggle with that and you have this haircut. And I know I'm being petty. I know I am, but it offends me. Yeah, the flat top, you would have that sometimes. It depends. It depends. When you grow up a little bit, depending on when you was raised, you had the Jerry curl phase. Let's be honest. A lot of us had the Jerry curl phase. Come on now. And we thought we was fly too. We had a Jerry curl phase, especially when we had that jacket to go with it. That's a cultural thing, and we all thought we was fly. We didn't tell nobody. I'm gonna be honest. We did not tell anybody. It was not already. We didn't tell anybody it was a Jerry curl fade. Okay, we would just say we washed it and conditioned it, and this is how our hair grew. Okay, we was not telling it. So a lot of us went through that. Let's come on now. But this is the transition of our culture. He clearly has not gone through that, because his haircut looks like an abomination. His haircut looks like an abomination. Let's get back to business. Yeah, see, how do I know your brother had a jerk? Because I know our culture. I know we as foundational Black American men, there was a Jerry curl phase that went on in the community. Okay. And then our hair started to grow out a little bit. Our hair started to grow out, and it would look ugly. So then we'd have to cut it. That's what we did. It grew out a little bit. It started looking, it was nappy at the bottom, and then it was curly at the top. It was weird. We couldn't take care of it. You had to cut it. You had to cut the Jerry curl. Okay. You would put that stuff in your hair and you let it sit there until it burned your scalp, because you wanted that S curl. We come on now. Come on. We all know that. We all know the burning of the scalp, and you sat there and you struggled and let it happen because you knew you was going, or at least you thought you was going to look good. You thought you was going to look good when it was done, so you was willing to sacrifice your scalp. We all know, a lot of Black girls know that too. A lot of Black girls, they was putting the stuff in their hair too. We get it. We don't do that no more, but we get it. That was a phase. All right. Lord. So it was those things. You can name 5 haircuts for Black men. It was one of those hairstyles during that time. But let's continue, because I'm gonna lose track. So this is what brings us to the fact that Chicago is in $1 billion deficit. This is what brings us to that. Now, I want to say that they've been telling us, and when I said that violence has gone up, they told me no. They told me immigrants are not violent like that. They told me all of these things are not true, that I'm making these things up, that these are MAGA rumors, these are racist rumors, and you must be working for the Republicans. That's what they said. Now, when you look at the evidence, because that's all we do, is we look at evidence. When you look at the evidence of all of these things, and I'm not going to go through all of the way, not all of the way with it, but when you look at the evidence of these things, it says Sanctuary City, Chicago sees 11,000% increase, 11,000% increase in arrest of Venezuelans since border crisis began. These Venezuelans that coming over here with gangs and stuff, gonna look a little bit into this. A common argument by Open Borders Lobby is that there is no connection between illegal immigrants and crime. Those people first missed the fundamental fact that illegal immigration broke American immigration law when they came into the country illegally. And thank you for that. Thank you for that. They are criminals. And we do no favors by saying they are not criminals. They broke the law by coming over here, and you're telling me that they're not going to break the law. So you're telling me they're one-time criminals. Because all of them, ALL of them, with no exception, are criminals. None of them are here legally. So they're criminals. But you're telling me that, well, no, they're criminals only when it comes to breaking in. They're not criminals when it comes to any other crime. That they have morality when it comes to other crimes is what they're telling you. I'm going to read down here a little bit. In the sanctuary city of Chicago, more than 21,000 primarily Venezuelan migrants have arrived since the summer of 2022. 21,000 consist of those who have crossed the border illegally and those whom the Biden administration has let into the interior of the United States, largely through the rampant and illegal abuse of parole authority. Okay. The Venezuelan migrants in Chicago have shattered the narrative pushed by open border lobbies that there is no connection between the border crisis and crime. According to police data obtained by CWB Chicago, there were 6 arrests of Venezuelan-born people in 2021 and 26 in 2022. Okay, that's a big jump from 2021 to 2022 because they didn't even really start coming like that till the end of 2021. Now, as of November 12th this year, the CPD has arrested 686 Venezuelans, representing an 11,333% increase over 2021. 2023's numbers are only through November 12th, leaving the second half of November and the entire month of December to add to the 686 arrests. So when they're coming over here, these are the receipts that you guys got to take to them. Because when they're coming over here and they're saying, oh, they're not committing crimes. They're not committing crimes at all. You're being xenophobic. You're being xenophobic by saying they're innocent, law-abiding criminals. They're criminals because they are breaking the law, and that by definition makes them a criminal. But they're the good criminals, though. They're the criminals that don't commit any other crime. They're one time they only commit like breaking federal law crimes. They don't break like state law crimes. They don't do that. They have morality. They have dignity. They have respect. They don't do that. They only break federal crimes by illegally entering into a border. That is all they do. That's all they do. And you can't say that about them because that's xenophobic, to tell the truth. Because truth be damned. We don't tell that here if it makes certain people feel bad. Truth be damned. Don't matter what the truth is. So that leads us to the fact that we've been telling them, and I want to show you this clip real quick. We've been telling them about it. So eventually, Chicago was put, and now before I show you this clip, I'm gonna whoa, what is going on? Before I show, oh my god, what the hell? Okay. Chicago halts hiring. Okay. Chicago halts hiring as defects top $1 billion through 2025. We're going to look. Okay, hold on. I don't know why is it doing that? Hold on. Okay, so something there. I don't know what's going on with this now. Okay, I don't. Hold on, y'all. I don't know why that's happening. We're going to look through this real quick. It says Chicago is freezing hiring and curbing other expenses to help close more than $1 billion in budget shortfalls through next year for the nation's third largest city. Effective Monday, Chicago is limiting, that's today. Chicago is limiting non-essential travel and overtime expenses outside of public safety spending, which is police and fire. Okay. Budget director Anton Guzman said in an email statement, Chicago is staring down an estimate $222.9 million deficit this year and another $982.4 million projected gap next year. That's over $1 billion. Which is why the title is what it is. Everybody's saying $1 billion, close to $1 billion. No, when you add everything up, it's over $1 billion. And it's only September. It's the middle of September right now. It's the middle of September. So who knows what's going to happen for the rest of the year? Who knows what's going to happen? So this is the situation that we're going through in this city. We're going through this in this city. So with that being said, now you got Chicago residents. I don't want to show you this. And this has gone incredibly viral. Okay. I want you to see this has got over 500,000 and it's still growing up now. Almost 700,000 views. I posted this yesterday. Shout out to the Cash Apps. Shout out to the Super Chats. I'm going to get to y'all in a second. Okay. Y'all got to make sure y'all hit that like button. Nobody is bringing you this stuff but me because I'm the only one there. The recording and bringing this stuff to you guys. All right. Almost 500,000. Everybody in Chicago, everybody is sitting up there saying, and this is just this one clip. This clip has been taken and put all over the internet. All over the internet. This clip has been taken and put all over the internet. And she's talking directly to Brandon Johnson. Come on. Give it a second, y'all. Okay. Hold on. Okay, hold on. 1 second. Now I was going to act. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to pause that for just a second. This clip has gone super viral. I'm going to bring up the other clip that I have. Because I went to Chicago City Hall and I spoke to, and that went crazy viral as well too. So I'm gonna show you both of the clips that's gone on, is on different YouTube pages, all on Instagram, all on TikTok, all over Twitter, not just my profile, but other profiles along with it. All right. Now this was a couple days ago. Let me show you guys. Now it's sitting up there acting like it don't want to play. What the hell? What is going on? I don't know. Okay, there's no sound to it right now. So give me 1 second, y'all. Y'all just stay there real quick. See, now everything was working fine. And then right when we were about to play the viral clips, now there's no sound to it. What a coincidence. Y'all stay right there. Y'all stay put for just 1 second. I got to refresh. I got to refresh the screen. Okay. Okay, we're back. We're back. So there's going to be sound now. Don't know what's going on. Y'all just bear with me. We got everything under control. Everything is under control. All right. So bear with me. We're bringing the clip right back. Okay. So now there's going to be sound. This is Sister Doris Lewis.
All I can say to you is that you are a disgrace. I'm an 80-year-old woman, and I've never seen anything like this. I grew up in the Jim Crow South, and the policies that you're passing in this city remind me of the Jim Crow South. I had to drink out of a colored water fountain, or the whites would drink out of a white water fountain. But you know what I didn't have to worry about? Going back to my community, and it would be destroyed. And everybody else is in my community but Black people. And this is what you've done with this immigration. You have allowed all these people, you brought all these people into this city. You are destroying this city. And the Black community is flooded with all of these immigrants, violent ones, prostitution, gangs. You did that. You are doing this to your people. You are an absolute disgrace to me. Like I said, I drank out of that colored water fountain, but I could go back to that Black community that was intact. Women are crying. Taxes are going up. What am I going to do with my children? Where are we going to go and live? This is because of you, Brandon Johnson. You're destroying the South Side of Chicago with your policy, all under the Democratic Party. You are a disgrace.
Yep. I want to show you. I've been going off on City Hall too. I posted this clip, and this clip has also gone viral on social media. Let me see, where is it? Where's that clip? Look at this. This has gone crazy viral on social media. I originally posted it on TikTok.
I asked them, is there any type of vetting process for them to come over here from Texas to Chicago? They told me no. When I said this to Alderman Vasquez, he lied to my face, and he told me that they are being vetted. When I asked them, they said they're not being vetted. They said no names have been taken. They just got put on a bus and shipped over here. That's why there's gangs over here now. This is why there's gangs roaming the streets. I asked them, is there any type of regulation? Is there any type of police oversight or curfew? They told me no. This is why they're able to do whatever they want to do: break into stores, vandalize, break into cars, run people over with cars that they steal from people, children. These people come from countries that traffic in drugs and children that our government is subsidizing, while they're telling us that we need to be sympathetic to them. They're putting them in our community, the Black communities. We have to take the blunt of all of this illegal immigration. And we're getting told that we're the bad guys if we have any complaint for it. For years, the government has said that they were going to do something to the South Side and the West Side. And every single time they say, well, you know, it's not in the budget right now. We need more votes. It's a process. It's this, it's that. Yet illegal immigrants come over and millions of dollars out of apparently nowhere gets to go to them. Criminal or non-criminal, it doesn't matter. They still get to go to them. Adults my age. These are not old men and old ladies with little babies. Not most of them, no. These are adults my age that our government neglects the citizens of, the veterans sleeping on the streets, and they're giving to them. These people are preying on the elderly in our community. We've seen that time and time again. All of that's been documented. They're preying on the children, not just in Chicago, in New York, in Colorado. The government has neglected us, and we have the list of everybody who has approved of it, everybody who has voted for it, everybody who lies to our face. We're tracking everything, and your seats is up.
I'm gonna say this. I'm not playing with them. We are not playing with them anymore. What they're used to, let me tell you what they're used to. What they're used to is people going to city hall, people going to city council, and people crying. Black folk, they're used to black people crying, being all like, what is going on? Y'all doing us so unfair. This is not right. I don't really know what to say about it, but I just know in my spirit this is not right. And what they do is they pat you on the back and they say, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be fine. Don't, it's not what you think it is. We're working on something. Just bear with us a little bit longer. We're gonna do this together, okay? We're gonna make it through. I'm hurting just like you're hurting, okay? But we're trying. It's just we don't have the money, so let us work together and let us build this stuff up. They're not used to a me. They're not used to a Miss Jackson. They're not used to a Mr. Blakemore. They're not used to a Zoe. They're not used to a Sister Lewis. They're not used to that. They're not used to us. They're not used to people who are keeping a tally on the government. They're not used to people like I was up there and I said this specifically to let them know that we know where you're taking this money from. You guys are saying it's coming out of nowhere. We're seeing this money. We're tracking this money. This right here, nobody has done this before where they've gone through what happened last year. We'll build up to this. We'll build up to that. We'll build up to Sanctuary City. We'll build up to this catastrophe, that catastrophe. I'm going here to give you guys all the information in one single place. Nobody else is doing that. That's what they're afraid of. That's what they fear. Because when you come to them with the receipt book, and you say you did this on this date, you did. Let me get my red pen. Let me get my red pen. Where's my red pen? Let me get this red pen out. Come on, y'all. When you come to them with the receipt book, when you sit up there writing everything down on a piece of paper, being like, okay, this day, this day, this day, this day, this day, this day, when you come to them, and I remember specifically because I did a broadcast on this specific situation, when you come to them and you mention the fact that, hey, we had the pandemic money, and this was in 2023, and Johnson himself, he didn't do this with the approval of the council. He might have did this with the approval, but he didn't need it. He didn't need their vote. This was no vote or anything. Him being in charge of the executive branch of the city of Chicago did this on his own volition and took almost $100 million in emergency money, because this pandemic was an emergency. Okay, we were just recovering from the pandemic. He took over $100 million in emergency money so he could house them, because he wanted them to have stable housing before Kamala, well, Joe Biden was still running at that time, before Joe Biden and Kamala bought their ass to Chicago for the DNC, because he wanted to impress his slave masters like the good house slave he is. That's what he wanted to do. So he took it out of your pockets and my pockets. And when you track this stuff, there's nothing that they can do. Because what they like to do is they like to play little games like, oh, y'all just don't understand how civics work. And y'all think that we can just get in here and do anything we want to do. And we can't do that. We got to vote, and we got a committee, and we got to study, and we got to get the budget, and we got to make another budget, and we got to talk about the budget, and then we got to vote on the budget, and then we got to have a meeting on the budget. And then we have to have a vote on what we're going to do with the budget. And then we'll, that's how it works. Yeah, that's just how it works. We're not lying at all. That's what they tell us. But when we're sitting up there keeping track, we were all like, oh, okay, well, you took that. Y'all voted on $50 million a month. Y'all been saying it's been $40 million a month. Why do you need an extra $95 million when you're already giving them over $40 million a month? You're giving them close to $150 million. This is why Chicago is in $1 billion worth of debt right now. Chicago's in $1 billion worth of debt. There are going to be no overtime. Christmas, all these holidays coming up. Ain't nobody going to be able to travel nowhere. Ain't nobody going to be able to do nothing. All the events and stuff like that they be having for Chicago, all that stuff getting shut down for a big part, because they have to have some of that stuff for revenue. That stuff getting shut down, except for fire and the police. Those are the only people who's not going to have to suffer as badly as everybody else is going to have to suffer. Everybody is going to have to suffer because of Johnson. Everybody's going to have to suffer because of Biden. Everybody's going to have to suffer because of Harris. Everybody has to suffer because of them. And they sit up there, and because we tried to do things the legal way. They said, no, we need to vote, right? We need to vote on things. This is a democracy. Nobody has the power to just do what they want to do. They said, okay. We said, okay. We said, fine. We're going to go to the city hall. We want this off the ballot. We want the rule to be changed. We're going to have a civil democracy. We're going to vote. They said, okay, fine. Let's have a vote. When we showed up to vote, they was like, oh, okay, shut the lights off. Turn the lights off on the citizens. They said, don't worry, we'll do it Thursday. Come back Thursday. They said, oh, well, we're going to keep it how it is. Oh, that's just how we voted on it. This is democracy for you. This is the party that claims to be about democracy. They can say what they want about the Republican Party, and there's a lot of flaws with the Republican Party. I'm not a Republican. I don't endorse the Republican Party. I don't. But I'm going to tell you one thing. The way the Democrats are playing things now, you can't tell me that y'all the party of democracy. Y'all sitting up there making it seem like, the Republicans, it's a dictatorship. This looks like a damn dictatorship to me. This is the definition of a dictatorship. Y'all got the city council kissing the ass to the administrative power, who's kissing their ass to the Biden and Harris administration. So everybody's kissing the ass to the king and queen. The old senile racist king and his Indian ass, washing the greens in the bathtub ass, nasty ass, cackling ass, unfunny ass, unwitty ass, unsmart ass, failure ass, unvoted for ass queen. That's what they're doing. That is what they're doing. Is this a democracy? Is this what you call a democracy? This is not a democracy. The Democratic plantation is a dictatorship. They tell you voting rights. Isn't that one of their main things? Oh, the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. Isn't that one of their main things? We got to extend the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. Don't they tell you that? They tell you about the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. Yet when the citizens actually want to come and vote for something, they block the vote. The same way they did in California with the reparations thing. Yeah, I'm tying all of that stuff in. The same exact way they did that. When the citizens want to vote for something that the powers that be don't want to happen, they find a way to switch the numbers up, to block the vote, to reschedule something, to push stuff back, to undercount the vote. That's not a democracy. That's not. Why are you telling us we need to be afraid of this imaginary Project 2025 as the end of the democracy? Y'all seem like y'all practicing Project 2026, 2027, 2028, 9, 10, 30. All of that. That's what y'all practicing. Why you telling us we need to be scared of that? Talk about a democracy. They're a joke. Now, let's get some more stuff. There was this clip because I had to refresh the screen, so I didn't have it up here. So I didn't have that stuff up here. But I'm going to play it for you guys. So Miss Jackson also talked to Brandon Johnson.
Hello, Mary.
Was up there going off. This is right before Ms. Doris went off. I took the clip from Ms. Doris. I put that on Twitter. This is Ms. Jackson going off about Chicago being $1 billion in debt.
Hello, Mayor Johnson.
Good afternoon.
All right. So the city has almost $1 billion deficit or being overdrawn by almost $1 billion. Now, we kept asking you to stop with this illegal immigration. And now this is where it has landed. With the city being overdrawn like this. Then if that weren't enough, I found out this morning that 4 IGA black women have lost their jobs. Now we all know more than likely they're going to be replaced by Hispanics. The fact that the city is being destroyed like this, I just don't understand. I really don't understand. And we kept asking you to stop, but you wouldn't. And now look at the city. We have absolutely nothing positive to show for all the money that has gone towards this. $16.4 billion budget, of which a measly $500,000 was earmarked for a study for reparations. And in the meantime, our communities are going further and further down. Now, I don't know what you're gonna do. And all I can tell the other black people in here, you better hold on to your jobs as much as you can, because he's taking jobs from black people and giving them to Hispanics.
That's exactly what he's doing. $1 billion, $1 billion. Okay. This was a couple of days ago. Shout out to Ms. Jackson. That was a couple of days ago. And for years, even when Lori Lightfoot was in office, when she was in office, we were saying, what are you doing? You can't allow them to come over. Y'all clearly don't have a plan. You're sitting up there allowing them to come over and making this up at the fly. You're trying not to make Biden upset. But you look at this. Think about this for a second. They tried their best not to make Biden upset because they want to get in good graces with Biden for him to win a second term, and Biden's ass dropped out the race. Oh, that ass kissing they did for Biden, and Biden winds up dropping out the race. And Kamala's kind of, she's treading kind of lightly right now, to be very honest with you. There's a lot of people who need to be, but are not impressed with her, are very upset with her, are very disappointed with her, because we're not going to sit up here and let the receipts slide. We're not going to let the receipts slide. We know it's them two. We know the problem is them two. We know these are the main two villains who are in charge of this. This stuff has never, ever, ever happened to this country before. This is unprecedented. This has never happened to a country before, where the government is spiting the citizens of its nation to allow millions of people to come over the nation illegally as they maldistribute resources to them, allowing them to commit crimes without any threat of deportation, without any threat of jail. This has never in world history, not just American history, in world history, has this ever happened before? Has this ever been allowed before by the government that we elect, quote unquote? This has never happened before. And you got all of these shills sitting up there kissing up to them. This is their fault. They need devil horns and a pitchfork. That's what they need. That's what they deserve. Kamala sitting up there laughing like she's riding to the White House on a broomstick. Biden got some horns in his head. Sometimes you look at him, his eyes look reptilian. And the way Kamala cackles, Kamala, whatever her name is now, the way she cackles, it looks like she needs to be riding on the damn broomstick. So, today, City Hall today, I posted this up today, and this is going damn near viral now. I literally posted this up today. Right here. So, let me give you some context to this real quick, actually. So what happened was, this is the last day of what they call the lottery, where at City Hall, what they did was they prevented us as foundational Black Americans from speaking, and they were letting a whole bunch of Hispanics get up there, and they were speaking. They said, oh, the speakers are closed off. Everybody was there early. They restricted the speakers. So this is after this clip that I just played for you. So after it's $1 billion in debt, because they know our faces. They know me very well. Okay, apparently, and I found that out very recently. All of them know me, Johnson included. They know me. They know this channel. They know all of them. They all know this. Okay, they all know Miss Jackson. They all know Miss Doris. They all know Mr. Blakemore. They all know that they've been going viral. So they want to restrict us in specific from being able to speak. So this was going on in City Hall today.
$1 billion in debt. $1 billion in debt. $1 billion in debt. $1 billion in debt. That's all bunch of illegal immigrants. They don't get to keep us out. We're sick of a bunch of illegal immigrants. We have stealing our money. Y'all stealing our money. You stealing. You stealing. You damn thieves. You thieves. $1 billion in debt. $1 billion in debt. $1 billion in debt.
It's got over 260,000 and this is only on my page. This has been reposted. Some the people have downloaded this and reposted this on other Twitter pages. All right, we're $1 billion in debt right now, and who's going to suffer for this? The taxpayers are going to be the ones suffering from this. The taxpayers are going to be the one doing this. We're going to have to be the ones suffering through all of this stuff. Look at this. I want you to take a good look at this, because this isn't just, we can talk about Chicago, but this is a reflection of the entire nation. I want everybody from around America to resonate with this, because this is happening whether the immigrants are where you are or not. This is happening in New York. Look at this. This is happening in DC. This is happening in Colorado. Look at this. Skyrocketing 2024 Illinois property taxes. What can you do to appeal? We're going to go through this real quick. Hold on. I'm going to make, because the print is kind of like that. It says, Illinois has now surpassed New Jersey for the highest effective property tax raise in the nation, according to a recent report by Adam Data Solutions. Illinois 2023. Hold on, let me mute this phone real quick. Illinois 2023 effective property tax rate calculated as taxes paid relative to median home value is 1.88%. This rate, the highest in the country, increased from 1.78% the previous year, which was already crazy high. So it went up 0.10%. It says New Jersey 1.64%, Connecticut 1.54%, New York 1.46%, Nebraska 1.46%. We're also in the top 10 states with the highest effective property tax rates of 2023. Conversely, the 10 states with the lowest include Hawaii, well, of course, at 0.31%, Arizona at 0.41%, Alabama at 0.42%, Delaware, where Biden is from, at 0.43%, and Tennessee at 0.44%. The number of Illinois metro areas were hit the hardest by increasing property taxes. 5 of the 10 metro areas in the United States with the highest effective property tax rates are in Illinois. 5 of the 10. 5 of the 10. Y'all, 5 of the 10. Okay? Is Rockford ranked second nationally with a rate of 2.41%. Champaign Urbana third at 1.95%. Peoria, I think it's pronounced like that, and I always miss that pronunciation up, is fifth, and Springfield is sixth with both at 1.9%. The Chicago metro areas come at the eighth with a 1.84% effective property tax rate. So this is and this is doomed to go up. This is about to go up, y'all, because I want you to look at the date on that this was made. Okay, this was July. Property taxes were going up. Now they just said that they're going to have to increase it again because they have to do something to make up for the $1 billion deficit that they're in right now. Now, after the situation, Miss Jackson, Mr. Blakemore, and Ms. Lewis was kicked out. Because of that, I did an interview with them. I wasn't able to get the audio of that. But then afterwards, they were able to go back in, and then we were able to do a post interview. So this is what they had to say about the entire event that transpired that day or today. All right.
I was invitation.
That's the wrong clip. I apologize. Hold on.
Today's city council meeting, I am more convinced than ever that most of the black aldermen down here have sold their communities out, have sold black people out. And if we don't start to make a very concerted effort to remove these people from their office, we are going to lose everything, because we are on the brinks of losing everything now, because the mayor is turning everything over to the Spanish-speaking aldermen. This is very serious. When you come down here, you don't see black people working. You don't hardly see black people working downtown. So aldermen, most of the black aldermen have sold us out and their communities.
Yes. And this is why we say, because people talk about, Kamala is black. Kamala is a black woman. So just because she's black, wink, wink, we're supposed to get her. Wink, wink, she's black. So come on, that's our sister, right? She went to a HBCU. She's an AKA. That's what they tell us. But how many times? And let me just get this for a second. The definition of insanity is doing something over and over again, doing the same thing over and over again, but expecting a different result. It is insane for us to just make the assumption that a black face in a high place means some prosperity or even any benefit at all to the black people, Any benefit whatsoever to black people. That is insane for us to believe. That is insane for us to think. We thought that with Obama. We've been thinking we've had a black president, black governors, black mayors, black city aldermen, black this, black Supreme Court, black everything. There's literally no place in government where we have not been. Black Supreme Court, black this, black that, black this, black that. Black people all in Congress. Yet black people are at the bottom of everything and everywhere. While they sitting up there living nice. And all they got to do is kiss a little feet and play their role, because their role is to let you guys have the illusion, or to sell the illusion that black people can get somewhere. See, their role, the Black Coons role, and we're going to get back to the clip, but the Black Coons role, because that's what they are in the political realm, that's what they are. Their role is to get up there and represent, to let you guys have the illusion, or so the dominant society can lie about the fact that there is a glass ceiling for the success and prosperity of black people and everybody else. So they'll be all like, "Hey, I'm the councilman. Hey, I'm a congressman. I'm a senator. I'm a this. I'm a that." So they're letting you know, "Oh, we're in here and we care about you guys," but yet they don't do anything for black people. The average black person has to suffer. I'm gonna be honest with you, and this might be a bold statement, but I got to be very, very clear with you guys. I take a black person, a black politician. I'm more worried. I got to be very honest with you guys. Y'all might feel a little bit differently, and that's okay. I'm more worried. I'm more concerned. I look twice at a black politician than I do anybody else. I'm more suspicious of a black politician than I am anybody else, because at least I know where their interests lie. If I see a Hispanic congressman, at least I know where his allegiance is. At least they don't lie about it. If I see an Asian congressman, Asian councilman, Asian mayor, at least I know where his or her allegiance is. If I see a white politician, at least we know where his or her allegiance is. And they don't be lying about it. Hispanics don't be lying about it. They be up there talking about their community exclusively, unapologetically. They don't mention the word black at all. You say black, they spit on the ground. They don't mention the word black. Yet the black politicians, they're the ones that smile. They're the ones that shake your hand. They're the sneaky snake-like. They're very shisty and snake-like. You don't really know where they stand on anything. They'll get out there and they'll make a fuss like they did in California. Oh, we doing this and we're getting so close to reparations for the black community in California. And they killed their own damn bill. Destroyed their own bill because they don't want to give reparations. You can't trust none. I'm more suspicious of them because they'll take you right up to the finish line and then they'll trip you. They'll take you up to the finish line and then they'll trip you. At least, at the very least, we know what we're dealing with. We're dealing with other races of people because they say, hey, we don't want black people to succeed. At least as racist and anti-black as that is, that's the truth. That's the truth. So we can understand how to adapt through that. You got the black city officials, the city aldermen, who's all like, I understand what it's like. Brandon Johnson, I had a bullet hole go through my window. A bullet hole go through my window in the west side of Chicago. I understand what the struggle is like. Trust me, I'm going to do something for you guys. And the black community has been completely ignored. More than anybody else. They're the worst ones. If I see a black politician, you're going to have to show me some receipts. And I'm talking about years of receipts. And I'm still going to look at you kind of sideways because I know how y'all like to switch up. Because y'all will say one thing in front of a camera. Y'all will say one thing when people are looking. Y'all will say one thing when the cameras is on. And then y'all go in that closed doors. Y'all have these closed meetings and y'all vote a completely different way. And we've seen that before. I don't trust none of them. But let's get back to their interview that they had after the fact.
It's just so sad. I don't even know what to say. It's just so sad. The leadership in City Hall, for the most part, is just incompetent. If you watch the way that they try to do a vote, if you watch the way they try to pass something, I would say 80 to 85% of them have no idea what's going on. What they do know is that the Hispanics are going to stick together. They're going to vote the same way. It's so unfortunate that the black aldermen have sat here and supported them in everything that they have done, all the way to the tune of the city being overdrawn by $1 billion. And that's by way of the black aldermen supporting everything that those Hispanics do. But yet we witness today those Hispanic aldermen all stuck together to go against something that Alderman David Moore wanted, which was the spots fire. They do not support us. They have drunk the entire Kool-Aid of black and brown coalition, and it has landed us in the situation that we're in. Between that and the black preachers like Alderman Hall, we as the black community are in trouble. The only way out is to get Trump in office so that he can do what he needs to do to clear up the mess of these sanctuary cities. That is the only solution, because locally, we're done. We're done. Go ahead, George.
All right. So I hold.
Before he
I hold
goes
the.
off and says this, I want you guys to understand. Hold on, I have a video playing in the background. I want you guys to understand. I took you through the start of Johnson's administration all the way up until what we have now. So you guys have, in this one particular live stream, you guys have everything from the start of his administration as far as the illegal immigrants are concerned in chronological order. Chicago tried to do the right thing. The residents, they said, come to the city council, voice yourself. We're always being told, well, we don't go to the city council, right? We don't go to the city council. We don't do things the politically right way. That's why we don't get the results we want. And all of these other groups, because every time we don't get what we want, it's this, we just didn't do it the right way. We just didn't do it the right way. So when you go to the city council, when they tried to do the thing in June, with the $51 million, we said, hey, we don't approve of this. This is not right. We have all these issues in Chicago, and you guys are doing this. They said, it doesn't matter what you guys think. Y'all get to go. Y'all go. We're giving this to them irregardless of what you guys want. Y'all thought this was a democracy? Don't make me laugh. Leave. And they gave it to them anyway. They said, hold on, you got to do things the legal way, because they're always trying to tell us there's a lot of little legal processes. We got to dot all our I's and cross all our T's to do that. We came back in December. I remember, if you guys have been watching me, we came back in December to say, hey, the sanctuary city thing, we got to have a referendum on that. They blocked the vote of a non-binding referendum. It's not even binding. They didn't even have to do it. They still didn't let us vote on that. So you sitting up there telling me that this is the party of democracy. Where everybody who's sitting up there saying that they don't want to have Kamala, whatever her damn name is now, in office is a sellout. Everyone who wants Trump to deport them is a sellout. And you guys are, this is the party of democracy. This is the party of democracy. They tell us that the reason that they're here is because Trump blocked a bill. Let me tell you something right now. There didn't need to be a bill. They said Trump blocked the bill. He blocked this bill, a bipartisan bill. There didn't need to be a bill. They didn't need a bill to allow millions of them to come over. Why do they need a bill to deport them? They didn't need a bill. Trump didn't need a bill. Obama didn't need a bill. Who was the president before him? Bush didn't need a bill. Oh, and I can go back and back and back and back. Now Biden needs a bill. Biden needs a bill to clean the mess up he made. He needs a bill to clean the damn mess he made. Sitting up there for years, allowing this to go on in the city, just plaguing the community. And all of a sudden, he needs a bill to clean this up, and Trump is the one who stopped it. Talk about the party of democracy. That's a joke. And anyone who says that is either a liar or a fool, or both. A liar or a fool. So you're not going to sit up here and tell me that this is the party of democracy, because I know how some of y'all going to get, why did she say that? Because look at this. Look at this. This is what democracy gets you. We don't have to stand for that. I'm gonna finish the interview. We don't have to stand for that. I'm gonna tell you right now, before I continue playing this, by you guys, because they need your vote. They need your vote. They need it. By you guys saying, you know what? I'm not gonna vote for them this year. I don't have to vote for them. Just that couple of little bit. You take that couple of little bit off of them, they're done. They are over with. They're done. You're not going to scare us with Donald Trump and Project. You're not going to do that. You're not going to scare us with that while you allowing this to go on and this and this and this and this. Let's get back to the interview.
The people my age and the seniors and the so-called elders are responsible for what is going on. We did not educate and inform and enlighten our young people. So in the movement, we need young, gifted blacks. When I came down here with the Arabs, they had young Arabs out there protesting on the highway. They had young Jews, but we don't have young people out here because the old between Doris, that's 81 years old. This other lady is 65 years old. And then I'm 82. We all blacks have failed. This just didn't happen. Shit just don't happen. We then had poor black leadership. For over 50 years, we had poor black leadership.
I want you to see this. Look at this, y'all. Poor black leadership. That's why we in this crisis. That is why we in this crisis. I'm going to be clear. I'm going to be very clear. My vote has a price. My vote has a price. If anybody tells you, I want you to listen to me very, very clearly. If anybody tells you our ancestors died for you to have the right to vote, my vote has, and I agree. Say I agree. So that, therefore, my vote is very important to me. My vote matters to me. So my vote has a price. What are you going to do for black people? That's my price. You have to check that box. If she's not checking that box and he's not checking that box, I'm staying on my couch. I'm not obligated. Y'all got to check this box. Because my vote, because of what my bloodline has contributed to this country, because of what my bloodline has done, because of what my ancestors have sacrificed, they've contributed blood, sweat, and tears for this. Oh, my vote is, you want to tell me our ancestors died for me to vote? Okay, fine. That makes our vote more important. It should have higher weight to it. It should have a higher price to it. And if you guys, if he's not willing to on the GOP, she's not willing to on the DNC, guess who is? This couch. This couch is willing to pay the price every time. I'm not itching to sell it to you guys. Y'all want to tell me my ancestors died for me to have the right to vote, and y'all think y'all can tell me that and then convince me to lower the price of this vote? Y'all just told me how valuable my vote is. You telling me how valuable my vote is, and you expect me to give it to you out of fear? Out of fear. No. You pay the price. You check off, you get this red damn pen, you check off this box. If this box ain't checked off, you ain't getting a vote. That's it. That is it. My couch is very comfortable. I don't need to leave this couch. You gonna fall. Why? I don't gotta do nothing. You gonna fall if I don't get off this couch and support you. You not checking the box. You thinking you can wait me out. You can't. I promise you. You cannot. I promise you. You can't. I promise you. You can't. You gonna let your opponent win because I'm not obligated to save you. You don't want to pay the price for my vote. You will for they vote, his vote, her vote, but you won't for mine. That's fine. You think I'm gonna lower the price for either one of y'all? No, never. Hell no. Our ancestors died for us to have the right to vote. So okay, you better pay the price for this. This vote has blood to it now. This vote has a life to it now. It's more important, it's more significant than all of y'all votes. Because it was blood, sweat, and tears for me to get this vote. It wasn't blood, sweat, and tears for him to get this vote over here, for Douglas to get this vote. for Javier to get this vote. For Lee, for Chung Lee to get it wasn't blood, sweat, and tears for them to get this vote. It was blood, sweat, and tears for me to get this vote. It was blood, sweat, and tears for y'all to get this vote. So that makes our vote more significant. It makes our vote more powerful. It makes our vote more meaningful. So y'all got to pay the price for it. I promise you, if y'all thinking that y'all going to be able to wait us out, if y'all thinking that we going to buck, if we going to lower the price, no. The price is the price. We don't lower the price because you don't want him to get it. You don't want him to get it, then you need to cough up this bag because y'all coughing up the bag for everybody else. Y'all think that's gonna happen. Think we're not gonna let you walk out that damn door. Think we're not gonna let you walk out that door. You are powerful. You become powerful when you are the first person who gets up and leaves the table. When you are more willing than your opponent to get up and walk away from a deal, that makes you the more powerful entity in that deal. When you're willing to get up and you're willing to say, well, you know what? I looked through all of this stuff and there's no tangibles up here whatsoever. Now, y'all in office now, y'all get to do so. Oh, wait, y'all had California. Oh, wait, never mind. Oh, wait, never mind. Look at California. Oh, wait, never mind. Y'all not getting nothing then. If y'all think this boogeyman is going to scare us, I promise you it won't. I want you to see this. This is earlier today. This was me earlier today at Chicago City Hall again.
$1 billion in debt. And all of this was very preventable when the illegal migrants started coming over here. We said, and this was during the Lightfoot administration, that this was going to destroy the city. We've been coming here, we've been keeping track, we've been watching the millions of dollars that's been maldistributed to illegal immigrants who are not vetted. Nobody knows who they are. Nobody knows where they came from. Nobody knows their background. They're coming over here, they're committing crimes, and we're allowing, the taxpayers have been coming over here complaining. The Democratic Party claims to be the party of democracy, yet the taxpayers, the citizens, the legal citizens have been coming over here and telling the government they need to stop this, that they're allowing people to come over here and terrorize the city. And yet they've been paying millions of dollars to them and telling us that they don't have any resources for us. We've been suffering. The rent has been going up. They've closed down schools for our community, our children, our citizens, yet they've reopened them to make them into shelters. They've been turning everything left and right into shelters for them. They've been using hotels for shelters. They've been using police stations for shelters. They've been using warehouses and abandoned schools for shelters. And they're sitting up here telling us that now they're going to have a hiring freeze. Now the citizens have to pay again. The citizens are going to have to pay again for the maldistribution of our resources to illegal immigrants. While you sit up there trying to blame Greg Abbott for sending the buses up here, the person who's in fault of this, the main person who's in fault of all of this is Joe Biden. Joe Biden is the main person who's in fault of all of this, and the second person is Kamala Harris.
That's
she
right,
was supposed to be the border czar, and she allowed all of this to come over here. Now she's just threw some big party, the DNC, while she's sitting up there talking about vibes and being in a good mood as Chicago is being terrorized under her watch, under Joe Biden's watch. And the Democratic Party is shutting us up, trying to silence us as we're paying for all of this. We have to suffer for all of this. This is $1 billion now. The winter hasn't even come yet. We don't even know what's going to happen then. You guys don't know what's coming over. You're still allowing them to come over here. Don't think you're going to be able to lie like we're not keeping track. We're keeping track of every single dollar that you guys are spending, every single lie that you guys are telling, and all of this is going everywhere. Chicago is the main person leading this, but New York, California, DC, everybody is watching Chicago, and this is going to be the end of the Democratic Party because this is Joe Biden's fault and Kamala Harris's fault.
I'm telling you, it's about to be a change, y'all. Now I see what I said has upset some people in the chat room. Let this be very clear. I don't get to tell people, just the same way people don't get to tell me what I can do or what I can't do with my vote. I don't get to tell people what they can do with what they vote or whatever the case is. Y'all want to vote for Trump? You think I'm going to shame you? You think I'm going to beat you up? You think I'm going to sit up there and talk about you? You think I'm going to do that? You think I'm no, see, that's the difference between someone who understands you as a citizen have a right to make your own independent decision and respect your own independent decision. I'm not out here telling nobody what to do. So a few folks in the chat room sitting up there getting upset about what I'm going to be doing. I'm not telling nobody what to do. I'm telling you my price based off of my ancestry, based off of my lineage, based off of my bloodline. I'm telling you my price. You can mark your price and you might have a difference of opinion and we can agree or to disagree. Or we can understand each other's opinion. Am I sitting up there? No, I'm not sitting up there trolling y'all. Oh, I can't believe you're going to do that. No, because here's my thing with that. This is actual democracy. This is actual democracy. Having people being able to pick independently for themselves based off their own value, based off their own life, based off their own beliefs and principles. That is what democracy really is. Democracy is saying, I want to vote for Trump. I'm going to do that. I'm going to vote for Kamala. I want to do that. I want to sit on my couch. I'm going to do that. That's true democracy. Don't tell me democracy is voting for the Democratic Party. That's democracy. Now, I have opinions on both. Clearly, you've never, ever, ever seen me endorse either party. I'm not a GOP. I'm not a DNC. Okay? I've never endorsed any party. I don't think any black person should endorse a party or be party loyal whatsoever. And I think I actually am glad that you have more black people than ever before who are independent thinkers, more black people than ever before who are making decisions based off of policy and legislation than personality and party. Policy and legislation over personality and party, that's democracy. That is what democracy really is. Why y'all sitting up there getting upset with somebody else's decision? I'm telling you my decision. If you don't like it, you can do something else. But I'm telling you based off of my bloodline, what my price is. And if my price is not checked, I'm not going to sit up there and fold. And I'll be damned if anybody sits up here and tries to shame me or you, and all of you all in the chat room for that. Don't you ever let nobody try to shame you. Your ancestors, our ancestors, had to fight and struggle for us to get the chance of democracy, for you not to be able to practice it the way you want to. They fought for democracy that other people are stripping away from you. Don't let that happen. Don't disrespect your ancestors by letting that happen. You get to pick and choose based off of your values, based off of your belief, based off of the price that you set. You get to choose that. I'm going to tell you what my choice is, and I'll be damned if I let somebody shame me into picking somebody or to lowering my price. I'll be damned. I'm going to tell you something. If y'all don't think that the Democratic Party can fall, I want you to understand this. Look at this. This was the race when everybody was running for mayor in 2022. Paul Vallas, a Republican white man, beat Brandon Johnson and Lori Lightfoot and Chewy Garcia. Now, he didn't win enough to win the primary. He didn't win enough to win the election. It was him and Johnson who were the top two, because neither of them got enough votes independently it came to a runoff. I want you to see Paul Vallis is damn near twice as many, and when it came to the first election, than Johnson was. In the runoff, it was a neck and neck. Johnson beat Paul Vallis by literally, and this is some reports are saying even less than this, literally 2 points. By 2 points, he beat him. Barely 2. In the city of Chicago, this black, allegedly, quote unquote, so he calls himself, this black man nearly lost, this black Democrat nearly lost the mayor of Chicago to a white Republican. Almost. It was a nail biter the entire way. It was a nail biter the whole way. Do you think that Johnson, I'm going to ask y'all a question in the chat room. Do you think that Johnson is going to be able to, after this disaster that he caused, you think that he's going to be able to pass this administration to another Democrat? You think that Johnson's going to be able to pass this administration to another Democrat? Do you think that Eric Adams is going to be able to pass that administration to another Democrat? Do you understand that in Chicago, this was a record low turnout? It was a record low turnout. So what I'm saying is, when you look, they need us to turn out. They need us to support them. We are their backbone that they have disrespected for too long. Johnson, by only winning by 2%, because to be honest, he damn near lost here. By only 2%, he won. And some people are saying that his win is questionable. By only 2%. The Democrats are hanging by a thread. Do you think that we're not going to sit up there and let that thread break and watch them fall where they belong? You think we're going to pull them up? They're hanging by a thread, and you think that we're going to pull them up? Now, I'm not endorsing Vallis. I hope you guys understand that. I don't support Paul Vallis. I just letting you guys understand something, letting you guys know something, that the Democratic Party needs our support. They need us to come to their rescue every single time. Every single time. And when the rescuers, which is us, when we come as Foundation Black Americans, less and less and less and less and less and less and less. And that thread starts to, the strings on the thread start to strip away, and they start seeing that rope that they're hanging on for dear life, the rope they're hanging on for dear life start to strip away. They see that. It's over for them. It's over for them. Because they don't believe that the couch is a threat. They don't believe that. They believe that enough of us is still brainwashed enough to go and vote for them. That's what they honest to God do believe that. They honest to God do believe that. And they can let that be their belief. They have a choice to let that be their belief. That's a dumb belief. That's an incorrect belief, but they can let that be their belief. Chicago, a historic, Chicago's not been read in all my life, was almost had a Republican mayor. And this is before this disaster. Y'all honestly believe, they're honestly telling you that they don't think that we're going to let this Democratic Party die. We will let the ship burn. The Democratic Party will be at the bottom of the ocean right next to the Titanic when it's all said and done. There will be no more. You guys want to disrespect us. You guys want to play with us. You guys want to insult us. You guys want to have these people come invade us. You guys want to erase us. We won't let that happen. I won't let that happen. You won't let that happen. I'm going to make an announcement before I want to make this announcement before we close out. Okay. And then after that, I'm going to get to the super chats because there's been a lot of super chats. Okay. I'm going to make this announcement. What I'm going to start doing, because what we need is more people, more voices to show up at these places, to speak at these places, because I can't be there all the time. Ms. Jackson can't be there all the time, or nor should she have to be. Mr. Blakemore shouldn't have to be. We should have an army of like-minded people thinking this way. And not just in Chicago, but in everywhere in America. So what I'm going to start doing again, I started this last year. What I'm going to start doing again, I'm going to start hosting meetings again, the same way I was doing before. I'm going to start hosting meetings. We're going to create politically a legal block of people, group of people, whatever y'all want to call it. And we're going to develop because we're already in the process of doing this. We're going to develop our own legislation that we're going to be pushing. I'm going to start hosting meetings in Chicago. We're going to take these meetings and we're going to transform these meetings into a bigger thing that's going to start pushing legislation, because this is the next step. The step of complaining about something and whining about something, that's over with now. We're on to the next step now. We're on to the step of now we're getting the paperwork ready. And I want you guys to know something now. The last time I talked about Chicago, we were talking about getting the hate crime thing from Bob Avakian, when he was putting up those hate crime flyers, those hateful flyers, those anti-black hateful flyers. He was putting all that stuff up. And we were getting the hate crime process to go in. That's going very well. I don't want to say anything like that to mess it up, but that's going very well now. The time of us just whining and looking at, that's over. We're on to the steps that can't be said online now. So I'm going to let this announcement be made. So this winter is going to be a lot of motion going on in Chicago this winter before the election and even afterwards. Because the fight's not going to stop after this election, regardless of who wins. The fight is not going to stop. Not in Chicago, not in New York, not in DC, not in Colorado, not in Denver, not nowhere. The fight's not going to stop. That is okay. What we have here is a weapon that we're going to be using to organize everything, to organize the soldiers and what we need to be doing. This is why all these other groups of people get to come in, because they have little nonprofit organizations and stuff like that. But that is fine, because we don't have that, nor do we need it. Nor do we need that. We don't need anything. I want you guys to understand, there's really been five people consistently showing up at City Hall, and look at how everything has transformed now. Look at how much headway we've made with 5 people. Of going viral a few times. That number needs to increase. Do you understand that the Black Panther Party started with Huey Newton and Bobby Seale, two individuals in California? Speaking of California, the same California, don't forget that block reparations. 2 individuals started the entire Black Panther Party movement that still has remnants that exist to this very day. I was just with Fred Hampton Jr. not too long ago for Fred Hampton's birthday. We was at his memorial. Do you understand how serious this is? So that's what I'm going to be working on. And what I want to do, and the reason why I want to make this announcement is not just because I know some of you all are in Chicago. A lot of you guys are not in Chicago. I don't want this to be a Chicago thing. Why I do this online? Because I don't want this to be a Chicago thing. I want this to be a Black America thing. I don't want this to be, I will say this one last time, I do not want this to be a Chicago thing. I want this to be a Black America thing. I want this to be something that is not just in Chicago, not just in Democratic cities, not just in blue states. I want this to be a Chicago thing, a New York thing, a DC thing, an Atlanta thing, a Los Angeles thing, a Colorado thing, or Denver thing, a South Carolina thing, a North Carolina thing. I want this to be something in Texas. I want this to be something in DC, in Tennessee. I want this to be everywhere. This needs to be this whole movement that we're seeing right here, where you got politicians running. They run from me. Don't you understand? They run from me. They run from me. All of them know who I am. They told me to my face. They all know who I am. They've told me. They all know me and they run from me. Ever since I put Vasquez on blast like that, none of them want to talk to me anymore. They all see what's going on. All of them, they nod and they stay far away. I don't even got my phone out. My phone don't even have to be out, and they all run from me. I'm the boogeyman to them. I want every single last one of you to be the damn boogeyman to these traitors, these anti-Black racist traitors and their non-Black counterparts. Everybody who is working against you, I want you to be the boogeyman to them. This is starting in Chicago, but I promise you by the time I am done, it won't be just Chicago. This will be a whole Black America movement. And things will change. The same way things change, the same way things change in the civil rights movement, where you have folks saying, "Oh, well, that's never gonna work. That's never gonna work. That's never gonna work." No, it will work. Something might happen here in this state, but then that catches on in the next state, and that catches on in the next state, in the next state, in the next state. And now it's a nationwide thing. That's going to be what this is right now. It's already what it is. It's already what it is. We're just going to have to be a little bit more organized with giving the instructions out. And with this platform, which is why it's important that every single last one of you guys subscribe and hit that notification bell. With this platform, this is going to be a nationwide thing that is going to change the nation. Every single last one of you all, by the time we are done with this movement, will be the boogeyman to your politicians. Your politicians will look at you and they're going to start shaking like it's the winter and they don't got no coat on. All of them. By the time we're done. And I do mean that politically. I don't mean that we're going to harm anybody, because I don't want YouTube to age restrict this or anything like that. I mean that 100% politically. Now, let's get to some of the super chats, because y'all been gracious with the super chats. Let's get to Sister Joyce sends a super sticker. I appreciate you. Thank you. Dark Star, another super sticker. Thank you so very much. Crystal says, vote Couch or Donald Trump or Jill Stein. Appreciate that. Super sticker. Thank you so very much. Then we have Sherry. This is Sherry's first time? I don't recall the name, Sherry. Well, if this is your first time, thank you so very much. I appreciate you. Sends another super sticker. Tell it like it is. Our good brother says, so much for voting locally. Mayor Adams, Mayor Johnson, and Paulus are the living proof. Oh yeah, all that vote blue down ballot stuff is dead. The vote, where's all of the vote blue down ballot? Where's all of those brainiacs at? Where's all of the vote blue down ballot brainiacs at? That's a great point. Thank you. Larry, Anything Goes LLC sends another super chat. Thank you very much. FBA Queen says, thank you for spotlighting Chicago Black woes with racism. Yeah. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. That's my job. This is my duty. I'm the one doing it. And I love it. Thank you very much for that. Kathy sends a super chat. Thank you so very much, Sister Kathy. FBA Queen sends another super chat saying hashtag no tangibles, no vote, FBA reparations now, anti-Black hate crime, cut the tax-free check. Yeah, tax-free check. Can't be taxes on it. Criminal justice reform, qualified immunity out, or no tangibles, no vote. Yeah, all of that stuff. We need a whole reparations platform, a whole reparations agenda, the Black agenda, with the core of it being cash payments. That's the heart of the Black agenda, is cash payment reparations. And then you got to have the whole body. You got to have the lungs and the liver and the intestines and the brain and all that. But the heart that beats in our Black policy, in our Black agenda, is cash payment reparations. Don't let nobody tell you different. The super chats. Shout out to our good sister Nicole. I appreciate you. Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much. And everybody else, I want you guys to understand, I did this. I am the one who did this. Nobody else, you can't find this anywhere else because nobody's been here. From the start of the situation till right now, you all, whether you're from Chicago or not, you know everything that has transpired to lead to the $1 billion deficit. It's going to be tough, but it's okay. We're going to be ready. Shout out to Thomas, says, dump these cooked Black sellouts. Oh, they're all going. They're all going. I'm telling you guys, we are, as the Black America, politically speaking, we are going to be the Black boogeyman, and in some of y'all cases, to our beloved sisters, the Black boogie woman, if that's a thing. They're going to treat us like that. They're going to run away because they understand the power of justice that we're going to bring. Our good brother Julian, shout out to Julian. He says, I'm from Chicago. I'm with you, brother. It's time to take the next step. I can't do any more illegal immigration. And with that being said, I'm voting Trump. I want you to come to our meetings when we start having that stuff. Everybody from Chicago, I need you guys to be present and active in Chicago. Everybody got to be present and active, okay? And then appreciate you. And then Cybele sends a super sticker. Thank you so very much. I appreciate all of that stuff. This funding helps me be able to do the reporting that I'm doing. Helps me be able to do the journalistic investigations that I'm doing. And then being able to bring it back to you all. So what you guys are doing, it's helping the movement. This is the part of the progress that we're all making, whether you're from Chicago or not. Now, I appreciate you, brothers and sisters. Make sure that you guys, if you guys want to stay tuned, follow me on my various social media pages, which is Afro Elite on Instagram and then the Afro Elite on Twitter. And the links to both of those are in the description below. All right. Make sure, do not leave. It's very crucial, very, very important. Hit that like button on your way out. Hit that like button, whether you're watching live or recorded. This gotta be like bombed. This has to blow up. This has to go viral like the clips on Twitter. Hit that like button. Share this. Put this on your Twitter page. Put this on your Facebook page. Share this. Tell a friend. Copy the link. Send it to somebody. Hit that subscribe button. Very crucial that you do so. And that notification bell. Leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think about this. Also, this is for a lot of you guys who are just watching. You guys are just seeing this, but I have changed things around a little bit. So I want to know what you guys think about that in the comment section below. What do you think about the new design going forward? Let me know that in the comment section below. I'd like to hear your opinion. I put a poll in the chat room, but I want to hear your comments on that in the description below. So let me know that. All right. Now, with that being said, my brothers and my sisters, be one salute to every single last one of you all, and you all have a good one.